Alright, today we are going to learn how to make perfect pulled pork every single time. The biggest key is to make a good brine. A good brine or a good injectable seasoning. So if you're going to do just an injectable seasoning, you're going to want about a 1/4 cup of seasoning and 2 cups of water. And then you're going to want to bring that to a boil or a slight boil and then mix it all together so that way it all properly dissolves. You're going to want to let that mixture completely cool down back to room temperature, and that way you're able to inject it into that beautiful pork roast, pork butt, shoulder roast, Boston butt. It's all the exact same thing. Or I prefer just to use the brining method. So this is 10 cups of water, and altogether it's about a cup of seasonings mixed together. So you have, with this one, I got odd juice mixed in there. I got some SARAP's DAYUM, and then I got added sugar and salt, and then a little bit of Carolina Reaper pepper hot sauce, and I brought it to a slight boil and mixed it all up so that way it would properly dissolve. And the reason then I let it brine for about a good 24 hours, or the 12 hours, I flip it over and finish brining it, and then I take this and then I actually inject it into it. That way, like, I know it has the added moisture. I have this out still, so that way obviously I could still make a video, but I also will save 2 cups of it, so that way when I braise it, I have the exact same stuff in there. And then once you take it out of or once you let it brine for your 24 hours or 12 hours, however long, some people do it overnight, but regardless, at least you got to let it brine or do an injectable seasoning, so that way you retain more moisture. So when you're all ready to go, prepping it in the morning, you're going to get your smoker to about 225, and then you're going to take whatever seasoning you want. I highly recommend some SARAP DAYUM or hot damn, and then you generously sprinkle it throughout the whole thing, and then you're gonna let that cook up until you hit about, or you can do it about like 190. The longer you put it in there, the more of a bark you get. I personally am incredibly impatient, so I'll wait until it gets to be about 165, 170, and then I'm gonna put it in a container or a metal container with about 2 cups of my juice. Just because of its size, it's about a 10-pound bone-in shoulder roast. So I'm going to do about 2 cups, cup and a half, 2 cups, whatever, of my brine, and that'll be for when I braise it. And then I will bring it up to the 225. But I mean, the greatest thing about pulled pork is you can mix and match. You can create your own little brines. You can do a lot of research on what ones you think are the best and all of that fun stuff, and you can really make these creations your own. That is the one thing I truly love about pulled pork, is it's so universal. You're able to do so much with it. But be prepared that it's going to take quite a while, because this in here is a 10-pounder. I've been doing this since 8 in the morning, and it is now almost noon. So, and then we still got plenty of time left to go. If you're gonna do it, you're also able to do it inside of a home oven. You just gotta make sure that you're cooking it at around 225 Fahrenheit. You British people or people that are using the metric system, you do in Celsius, you'll just have to convert it over. I think it's like 130 degrees Celsius is the equivalent. Something like that, I don't really know. So yeah. With mine, I am spraying it about every hour and a half with some apple cider vinegar, just again to keep moisture in there, because that's crucial with any pulled pork, is you gotta have lots of moisture in there. So, yep, I'm gonna cut this out, and then I'll see you again once we're at the braising stage. I might as well spray it. A little light. That's all it really takes. All right, so I'm at 163 degrees internal temperature. So I'm lazy and I'm impatient, so I want to get to the braising process as quick as possible, just so I can speed this up. You can again start braising it anywhere from like 150 all the way up to not really doing it at all, but I wanted to keep it as juicy as possible. So at about 160 to 165 is when I personally always start the braising process. And all it is I'm using a bigger container, and this has 2 cups of my brine in it, as well as I add a little bit of extra seasoning, and I'm using some Neil's SARAP DAYUM jerk, and this is Jamaican it tasty. So all I'm gonna do is put my shoulder in and then wrap it up with some aluminum foil. My God, that is delicious. And then I have to be careful because this can puncture the aluminum foil. So you always want to make sure that you're careful of that. All right, that should be good position. Get her nice and airtight. You don't want to lose any moisture. Slowly close. All right, and then we're still gonna leave it at the 225. Like I said, I'm at 164 right now, and we're gonna cook it until it hits about 195 to 200. That's a lie. You want to bring it more towards the 200 to 205 range, and then you're gonna let it rest, and then let it rest still covered. And then I'll explain that part coming up, but nonetheless, like once you're done, once it hits that 200, yeah, it's when I pull it off because it's still gonna cook, and it'll bring itself up to about 205. And then you don't ever take it out, you're just gonna let it rest until it gets down to about 140. So now we just set it, forget it. I got a wireless thermometer. This is my Pit Boss 1000 SC with an AccuRite wireless thermometer. So I'm able to see all of the stats inside my house. All right, so we hit the 200 mark. I got the grill turned off. It's still gonna continue to spike. It's all wrapped up. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna leave it in the grill. I got my top cap pretty much all the way open now. Oh, there we go. And then we're gonna continue to watch this until this, which is the meat temperature, drops down to about 140. And the reason we do that, there we go, you guys can see my face. So the reason we do that is so that way when you open up the foil on it, there shouldn't be a whole lot of steam coming out, because all of the steam that comes out, that is actually moisture that you're losing in your meat. You want to keep as much moisture as humanly possible inside of it. Therefore, we're going to bring the temperature down to 140 degrees, so that way when you open it up, it's not going to be like a... It's just going to open it up and there's just going to be a little bit of steam, so that way you don't have to put back as much moisture. So this part you have to be incredibly patient with, and again, like, it gives you the best results. So like I said, what we do is you start off brining it. After you brine it, you're gonna smoke it at 225 degrees on the smoker, or if you're in an oven, you're able just to put it to 225 in the oven. And then from there, you're going to smoke it until it hits about 265, 270, anywhere in that area. And then you're going to braise it using some of the original brine, or if you have different braise sauces that you want to use, you're able to use it. From there, like I said, you're just going to leave it in the grill, or if it's in the oven, you're just going to turn the oven off, and you're just going to let the temperature go back down, so that way when it does open up, you're not losing a whole bunch of that moisture. Alright, so we are taking it out.
Do you want me to show it over there?
Yeah, you can hold it up. That way you can assist me. Alright.
Does this even have sound on?
Yes, it does.
Yay. Look how juicy that is!
Okay, but you know... Alright. Ooh, it's already falling apart.
Wait, how is it falling apart?
It's tender.
Tender?
Yeah, just the way it's supposed to be. Alright, put this behind you. Alright, so the breaking apart is easy. Take your bone.
Get that. Wait, what is that?
It's a bone.
So is that on the side of the...
And then you gotta do the nice little close-up for this. And this is how you pull it. Get to that side. This simple. It'll be perfectly done every single time. You could use tools, but these actually have light cotton gloves underneath.
Yep. Oh my god.
That way it feels a little bit more even in proportion. And then look at that beautiful smoke ring. All of that pink is
muscle.
No, it's all muscle, but that's where the smoke was. So these are the parts that have a lot more of that smoky taste to it.
Can I have some of that rub-ons?
So once you got her all pulled apart, which is pretty easy to do. There you go, kiddo. From there, you got to put some extra seasoning in there. And I'm going to be using Neil's SARAP. Hot damn!
What, hot?
Hot damn. Because we did the outside with original damn.
So cold out here.
Oh yeah. What do you expect? This is Minnesota.
Yeah, it feels like winter right now.
Mix it up, keep pulling her apart. Then you'll sample another piece.
Do we have to put juice in there?
There's a big piece of fat. That can go. Sprinkle some more in there, child.
So.
Sprinkle. Get her in there. More. More. And if we need juice, that's when we're able to use our juice from when we're braising it. Oop. I'll do probably one more splash of seasoning. One more splash of seasoning, child. Oh, I gotta get everywhere. There you go. That'd be one.
Oh, and when like clean. Please make that really, really spicy.
Well, and that's what we're doing. So, when you're able to put in different amounts of seasoning, the more seasoning, you know, the stronger flavor you get. If your meat's too dry, you want to grab the camera? Show them this. There's all of your juice from when you're braising it. So if it was too dry, we can actually just use our little scooper and we'd be able to get some of it out.
Then bring some of it.
So if we needed to, we can, you know, just add
A lot?
add a little bit more in there. That way it moistens it back up. But with this cut, we didn't trim any of the fat off, and this is why we don't trim none of that fat off. You shouldn't need anything else. So I'll give some to my kid. Try it. Do we need more seasoning?
Yeah.
Yep. Alright. Alright, that should be good. That should be good.
Try to make that really, really spicy.
And then we're gonna just mix it.
What does smoke?
Just there you go, child. We good now?
For sure.
Alright. From there, serve it up on some buns, whatever, you're good to go. It's that simple. I make perfect pulled pork every single time.